You know, I didn't expect the movie to be like that.
Right here. Let's go.
Hi, Faceless here, and 8 years ago we were given a monster movie called Cloverfield. It was about a huge monster coming out of the ocean and attacking New York City. The film didn't give us any origins of the beast, nor did it give us a reason as to why this beast was so pissed off about. The film was done in a found footage format, giving us at the time a different perspective rather than your standard huge monster movies like Pacific Rim or Godzilla. There had been talks about doing a sequel, but that's all it was, just talk. Now JJ Abrams gives us what looks like to be the sequel to Cloverfield. Only by name. 10 Cloverfield Lane. Folks, I'm gonna be straight with you. This isn't really a sequel. Initially I thought this movie took place in the same universe as its predecessor, but it doesn't even make references to the previous film. If I'm being completely honest, it's more of a standalone film with its own unique story. We follow a woman named Michelle, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who is pretty much leaving her boyfriend/husband to an unknown destination. She gets into an accident in the middle of the night and she wakes up in a concrete room chained to the wall. We're then introduced to Howard, played by John Goodman. She informs Michelle that something bad has happened in the world and it's not safe to go outside. He makes his theory that it was either a nuke or a chemical attack and that he saved her life by bringing her down to the shelter. Of course she thinks this is a bunch of horseshit and she tries to escape at the first best opportunity. She comes close to escaping, however when she's just about home free, she sees that Howard may be in fact telling the truth. After that incident, she resigns to the fact that there's some kind of attack that did happen and that she is safer where she's at. From there, things seem to be alright, but they start getting a little shaky when she discovers some inconsistencies in Howard's stories. And largely that's where this film plays at. It does a good job in building up to the atmosphere of suspense and thrills, but at the same time it brings us down to where we have very calm and funny moments, only to bring us back up to the suspense and isolation. As for the acting in this film, they couldn't have assembled a better cast. John Goodman sells it as a man who is opposing and someone you just don't want to mess with. He can be kind and understanding, but at the same point, intimidating and creepy. Winstead as our protagonist isn't your regular female archetype that you normally see in horror films. She's actually strong and smart. This role was really played well, and you root for her survival. The other person, John Gallagher Jr., is okay, more like a filler character. He does have a small background story, but I was so invested with the other two characters that I really didn't pay him much attention. I'm not saying he's bad in this role by no means, I mean he was just adequate. Throughout most of the film, it takes place in this bomb shelter and it gives you that sense of isolation and confinement, and it works really well. The only real thing that put me off with this film is how abruptly the film concluded. I'm not going to spoil the ending for you all, but when I finally got to see where this film was building up to and what was actually going on, I found myself going, huh? I mean, really for me, it kind of came out of left field. At first, I didn't know what to think about the ending, but after really giving it much thought, it wasn't bad. It was just really unexpected. Guys, if you're going to see this film, leave your expectations at the door and you'll enjoy this movie for what it is. I know I'm repeating myself, but I can't express this enough to you all. This film is really not a sequel to the 2008 Cloverfield, but it is its own story and it's really good. So, my final recommendation is an A. Well, this wraps up this episode. If you have any opinions or thoughts, please leave a comment below. As always, you can find me on peanutbutterdisaster.com where you can view my previous videos along with other producers and their content, so check it out.
You know, boss, I was disappointed with this film at first, but they made up for it.
Oh? What changed your mind? The suspense?
No.
The ending? The character development?
Nope, none of those, boss.
Well, what then?
That one song they played. I love that song.
Song?
Oh, you know. Children behind, dance with the sun when together, and watch how you play. They don't understand, and so we're running just as fast as we can. holding up to one another's hand, trying to get away into the night. And then you put your arms around me and you start what you're gonna then you say, I think we're alone now. It doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. The beatings of my heart is the only sound.
Peanut butter disaster.